How are we? Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome to this. Welcome back for another stream. How are we on this beautiful Monday evening? I don't think anyone's ever called a Monday beautiful, but when League One Roundup is in town, it is a Monday to celebrate. And yes, again, not as many games to cover tonight, but we still are covering it on the channel. We are going to cover every game from Saturday, again, in detail. Again, some big results at the top, especially in the hunt for the top six. And also at the bottom as well, teams getting vital wins down there as well. We'll also have a look at some key loan signings in the window in January and also in the window back in the summer. We are literally 6 to 8 games left of the season. We'll look at run-ins and we'll also look at how teams are doing. And yeah, so thank you for everyone who's joining Bruce TV. Luke, again, sorry for no content in the last week. There's been no Fleetwood game. And I'll be honest with you, I just kind of wanted a break from football because I've rapidly fallen out of love with it recently. So, yeah. So, been nice to have a week off. But he is here. And again, hello, Jake. Now, the show was meant to start at 6. Now, Jake was running a little bit later than Fleetwood concede goals at the minute, basically. And what it is, as you can see by his shirt, the manager bounce has worn off. Now, you know, he's had a good impact. You know, he's got a bit above his stations. And, you know, no one's listening to him anymore. And now he's being late. The standards are slipping in. And, you know, he's going to be slipping into that bottom 4 soon.
Yeah, no, what it is, Ben, is I've just come from a job interview at AFC Wimbledon. I've just put my CV in there based off my football manager accolade. So I thought I'd wear a tie down there and hopefully we can steer the Wombles to safety ahead of Fleetwood Town. That'd be nice.
I hope so. I think I can enjoy the last 8 games of the season if you're there. But again, thank you for everyone that is joining. If you could like the stream as we're joining as well. Some big games at the weekend, Jake, and some big results. I think when it's international weekend, you kind of lose the ball, and maybe that's one of the best times to pick up 3 points, isn't it? Because, like, let's be honest, when it's half a fixture, you think, well, teams like Gillingham who won, you still think, oh, they're still in it because of the game, but you'd rather have the extra 2-3 points on the board than 2 games in hand when you're at the bottom, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, it goes under the radar, doesn't it? Obviously, when it's a full fixture list, you have the championship and you have the whole TV coverage on a Saturday night. So, and you can tell it was sort of limited when you watch Quest on Saturday evening. So, no, yeah, I think I sometimes prefer it when we have an international break, purely so that, you know, more teams who those clubs that aren't the big clubs, so, you know, like.
Oh, he's gone. Has he gone? Right, he's gone. Yeah, he's froze. Totally froze on me. That's good for some point, but he'll come back, hopefully. Yeah, that actually happened in the warm-up, so hopefully Jake will be back with us soon. We'll come to your chat now. Hey, Bruce TV. Hey, Luke. McKenna Ball. McKenna, what a manager, by the way. 17 games, over 50% win record, you know. 17 games against 12 clean sheets in that time. I think you've won 4 games by 1-0. I think 10 of your 11 victories have been, or 11 out of your 12 victories have been by a goal to nil, which is unbelievable. Like, keeping, winning to nil. He's here. Unfortunately, he's back. We'll bring him in the next 2 minutes. Jake, just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, mate. Yeah, he'll be with us in a minute. We will get into the show very soon, so keep the comments coming in. Love the channel, Ben. Top stuff from you. Again, if you could subscribe, give it a like, all that jazz as well. Wes Burns is the best player in the league, Nappers. What an impact he's had. And we're going to come on to it because now we've done a featured game in Plymouth versus Ipswich because I thought it was the biggest game of the weekend. Again, what's going on with Barn? Lord Plymouth didn't even have a shot on target. Yeah, right. Jake is ready to join us.
Sorry.
Jake, don't worry, mate. If you freeze, don't worry. It's the best time. I think it's the best way to see you personally. But we're going to go straight into it. Accrington 1, Gillingham 2. Now, you look at this game, it was a tight battle. Now, Liam Isherwood played in goal. Again, I think his family and friends got an extra 60 tickets, so that boosted the already boosted crowd of 2,500 there the other day. Now, what a result for Gillingham. That's 15 points in 11 under the new manager, Harris. Before, they only had 22 points in the previous 29 games. So what a turnaround it has been. Charlie Kelman and Vadine Oliver scoring. Kelman ahead at the back post and Oliver a bit of bravery. Poor goalkeeping. And maybe he doesn't make that 2-0 if the goalkeeper already had maybe 200 EFL appearances to his name. Maybe a few nerves comes out. Then Bishop scores a penalty. The big talking point, and from a Gillingham point of view, should Accrington have had a penalty? Now, I look at it. Brett Ormerod on BBC Radio Lancashire described it as assault. And I look back at it, I think it's hard, but I think his eyes on the ball, he's going for the ball, and I can see why it's not given, and I can see why there's claims for it to be given. But it's a huge result for Gillingham. Accrington won the previous 4 at home. They're unbeaten in 9. What an impact Neil Harris has had.
Yeah, that and look, Accrington's a really hard place to go. I think Rotherham have been there in recent weeks, haven't they, and been beaten. So, you know, it's a really good result. And Gillingham, they're sort of gathering momentum, aren't they, under Harris? And this 3-5-2 that they've sort of employed in recent weeks is really coming to fruition. And, you know, you look at the goal scorers, the 2 centre forwards. Yeah, Charlie Kelman's only young, isn't he? Coming on loan from QPR, had a really good spell with Southend. And then Big Vadane Oliver, who we used to have in the non-league days, scoring goals at this level, is really good to see. And, you know, it's a good place. It's a good result for Gillingham because in the way they go under the radar a little bit, don't they? So
yeah.
And then for Accrington, obviously they'll be disappointed. They've lost the game at home to a side below them in the table. But Accrington are one of those teams that are on the beach, aren't they? In fact, they've got not a lot to play for. They're not going down. They're not staying up. And I think in terms of the penalty, I think if it's your team, if it's your man that's fouled, you're absolutely screaming for it. Whereas, you know, if it's your team that have committed the foul, you go, oh no, it's never a free kick, never a foul. So it was one of those, but no, good result for Gills. Obviously, they're out the bottom 4 now. They're looking to make a bit of headway out of the bottom 4. As you can hear my dogs in the background, very polite of them. Good result for Gills, and they'll hopefully use this as a bit of momentum and drag some more teams in it from their point of view.
I agree. I think if that foul's in 20 yards further on from their goal, I think it's a free kick all day long. But I think you've got to look at the victories that Gillingham have had. They've beaten Crewe, they've beaten Cambridge, they've beaten Lincoln, now they've beaten Accrington. Now they're 4 clubs. To get out relegation battle, Neil Harris should have looked and gone 3 points. He probably would have looked at them and gone, if we can get 8 points out of those 4 games, then I think we're on something. They've got 12, which is unbelievable. And again, their running is tough. They've got some, I think they've got Wickham to play. They've got Sunderland away to play. They've got Rotherham at home to play. So it is a tough running. Probably one of the toughest in there. But one thing they have got is points on the board. And actually, only 1 clean sheet in 15 for them now. But again, they need to improve, and they need to improve quickly. And but I think for Accrington, they've had a ridiculously good season. And now, Neil Harris, manager of the season, I think is a shout. And people are saying he shouldn't get it because they were 10 points adrift and now they're 4. Now that's because of other teams. Now, how can Neil Harris control what other teams do is my response. All he's done is gone in there, given them a good bounce, giving them a new influence, a new lease of life. And even if a good team would have been, they would have only been about 3 or 4 points adrift after being 10 points adrift. So, he's done what he's needed to do. And Gillingham are out the relegation zone. You can't rely on other teams picking up points. And then being said, oh, you didn't do a good job because other teams were crap and you just did okay. Gillingham have done really well. They picked up results. I don't think he's my manager of the season. I think my manager of the season's got to go to Liam Manning. I know we spoke last week and you said him or Mark Bonner, which I agree with. I think Duff's up there as well. It could also depend on who wins the playoffs as well. Because you could say Carl Robinson, you could say
Michael Duff.
Darren Moore, could be Owen McKenna if he gets Ipswich up in the unlikely scenarios it is at the moment. Would you agree with that, Jake?
Yeah, I look, Neil Harris was a coup for Gillingham at the time, and he's done really well to drag them, back within playing distance. But they're not safe at the minute, are they? So
no,
he can't be manager of the season. And you give a manager of the season based off their being there all year and what they've achieved over the course of 9 months. Neil Harris has been here 2 minutes, All due respect, he's done a really good job. He's done a very good job. Do that over a season, you can get manager of the year. Do it over 10 games, you don't win it for me, especially over someone who's been here for 46 games, like Liam Manning, like Paul Warne, Liam Richardson's another one. And then obviously I mentioned Mark Bonner and Michael Duff last week. So, yeah, not for me. Not for me. Done well, but not manager of the season.
Well, I think John Sheridan was slightly gutted because it was over 10 games at the end of the season. He'd have about 8 awards, wouldn't he? Oldham 3 times. You'd have Fleetwood up there. You'd have Chesterfield up there. He'd be absolutely raking the awards in. Again, we talk about managers, mate. Wimbledon 0, Cambridge 1. Now, this was no winning 20 or 21 without a win. Obviously, lost to Bournemouth in the FA Cup, didn't you? Had a great run. Who only just recently got knocked out to Everton at Goodison Park. Again, Cambridge did lose 4 of the previous 5 going into this. But when you're playing Wimbledon, you've been awful. I lost 12 of their last 20 league games. The last win coming 16 weeks ago tomorrow. Mark Robinson, last week, it was like the Claudio Ranieri, if you remember, where I think he gets the vote of confidence, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, he gets the sack. Now, I always find that football clubs who give a vote of confidence, they're doing it for a reason, and they know questions are being asked, and I don't get why they do it, because as soon as a couple of bad results go, 2 games later, you could lose and sack him, and it all comes crashing back in your face. I think you've got to have a look at the disaster of that football club to go from, full confidence to now. I think they panicked, and I do think it's the right decision, by the way, to get rid of him, but I think they panicked and they thought, crap, and their recruitment for their manager, I think, has happened 5 games too late, because or even 10 games too late, because if you look, Neil Harris was available, Steve Evans was available, these are big names. John Sheridan was even available, who, let's be honest with you, he might have not been great. I know he's lost his last 5 at Oldham, but he is still a good manager in the last 10 games of the season to keep you up. They're 3 names that, in my opinion, are better names than Mark Robinson. Now, Mark Robinson just didn't really have an experienced coach around him. And if you look at Wimbledon, the last year managers like the Neil Hardy, Glyn Hodges, they've all had similar win percentages around the low mid-20s, early 30s. They started this season off well, but this run's killed them. But I still got them to stay up because I think they've got favourable fixtures where they can go and pick up points, Jake.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ben, while Wimbledon are on this really poor run of form, it's a bit of a gimme going there and picking up 3 points, isn't it? So, and, when there's all this contention around the manager's future and the board of saying they're going to back him and the fans are quite vocally wanting him out, you're always going to get this strange atmosphere. And it's a new ground, isn't it? So it's still acclimatising to the way that, how a football ground is when you walk in, and that you get that soul and you get that energy. It's still acclimatising to all that. I might be going off on a bit of a tangent, but yeah, I think in terms of Cambridge, obviously a really good win for them. Probably deserved it on the balance of play. But then you look at where this is going to leave Wimbledon. Cambridge is safe. Everyone knew Cambridge was safe weeks ago. Wimbledon are a side that are desperate, and they, like you say, it's the right decision, because if a manager goes 20 games in the league without a win, they need to be sacked. You look at Frank de Boer, remember at Palace years ago, he got 4 games, didn't he? Some managers get less than 4 games, so it's the right decision. We sort of said before we came on that Wimbledon do this every year. They sack a manager late and they hire somebody and then they have a bounce. So we're expecting this, whoever it is. I mean, I've tried Googling and searching for next manager odds, but no bookies are currently taking any punters. But, you say there Steve Evans and you say there Neil Harris, good shouts. I think if they'd have been proactive, they could have gone and got Luke Garrard from Boreham Wood. I know it's a step up, and I know Boreham Wood are doing really well. But an opportunity for him to manage in League One would have been far too good for him to turn down. Luke Garrard is a manager that, if Michael Appleton was to walk from Lincoln City tomorrow, I would actively go and pursue. And with him being fairly local, really good, sensible choice. But no, I think you're sort of thinking that Wimbledon might sort of stay up. I'm not too sure, given the recent performances. I think they lay there and get their bellies tickled and roll over, don't they? So, no, good win for Cambridge. Wimbledon in a bit of a mess, but they come through it. They always do, don't they?
Yeah, agree. I think it'll be a cheap appointment, as it always is with Wimbledon. They don't like spending. I think you've got to look at some of the managers that are managing League One. I think for one, Simon Grayson won't be on the cards because he won't go past certain area. I think it'll be someone who's local to that area if they're going to go and get someone, or appoint from within like they've done with the last few managers as well. Next up, Doncaster against Charlton. I just want to go quickly on this because Doncaster are absolutely awful. Their goalkeeper got in Team of the Week because they only conceded 1 goal this week. Again, Blackie Taylor was unbelievable for them. Again, won a penalty, got an assist. He was absolutely brilliant the other day. Stockley scoring as well. They're such another weird side. They lost 5 out of 6. Since then, they've won the last 3, keeping 3 clean sheets against Gillingham, Burton and Doncaster. It's just one of those seasons for Charlton where no consistency has really hindered them, not to get into that top 12, really.
Yeah, and they're just in form, aren't they? Just before we go down there on Saturday to the Valley, which is really helpful. No, look, Jayden Stockley's a really good centre forward, isn't he? You know, he must have played that well while he was at Exeter to skip League One and go straight to the Championship and with Preston North End. So, look, really good centre forward. I think he showed it last year when they just missed out on the playoffs as well. Looked really good with Chuks and Ike up front last season. Yeah, Doncaster. Probably the worst side that I've seen Lincoln play this season, and I've seen Crewe play this season, and they're even further adrift to them. So look, Doncaster, yeah, it's like we said. Which game was it been? A couple of weeks ago, we said this is the nail in Doncaster's coffin. We're at the crematorium. Doncaster are on the conveyor belt. They're going into the machine where you burn them, aren't they? At the minute, so. Them, I'm not too worried about.
Like a pigeon with no wings.
Yeah.
Can't fly. Can't do anything.
And Charlton, like you said, it's a weird season for them. They're up and they're down. I think Nigel Atkins probably didn't help them at the start of the season.
No.
And then, like we've said so many times before, Johnny Jackson's lost the motivation, hasn't he? Especially for this year with this group of players that aren't his, understandably. So you give him the summer, don't you, to recruit a new type of player. And look, I think they're going to be deadly next season, Charlton. I think they're going to be up there. So, yeah, good win for them. Absolutely hate that they're banging form now and keeping clean sheets because that means we won't score on Saturday. But never mind that. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, good 3 points for Charlton. And as you say, for Doncaster, it's trips to Carlisle and maybe Barrow and Oldham next season for them.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, Plymouth against Ipswich. Now, Portman Road. Now, I've been criticised for still backing Ipswich. Now, let's be honest with you, they're still in it. If they go win their last 6 games of the season, it's unlikely, I know. I think they've drawn 3 or 4 of the last 7 games. It really is unlikely, but I still reckon they can go win 5 out of 6 and draw 1 and get into the playoffs, because I reckon 84 points, if you can't get into the playoffs, is 80 points. I think that shows if they get 80 points and don't get in, there's full respect there from me, because 80 points in any other League One season gets you, and it's ridiculous. But I like Plymouth. I know they weren't good the other day. Similar setups, Jake. Both back threes. Both like to play with. I think Ipswich a bit more expansive from the back. I think you look at Wolford and Burgess and Dinesian. They can cover a bit more ground going forward and going wide. I think Gillespie, Cooper and Bolton, or you can play Wilson on the right-hand side. I think they're a bit more stay on the edge of the box, head and kick the ball away, and hold your line, hold your shape really well. I like the wing-backs. I like Sessignon. I like Edwards. And then they've got Houghton and Randell, haven't they, that those commanding midfielders that every team need. Last year you had Liam Bridcut do that really well for you. I think you have to look at every team that go up. I think you look at the aubergine from Rotherham, who does it really well. You look at Max Power, and those Tom Naylor, who do it well as well for clubs at the top of the league. And then you've got Mayer just in behind, Hardy and Ennis, who score a lot of goals. They've got 43 goals for Plymouth now. He's got, I think he scored 32 at 5 of the clubs, so he's really settled there, Jake. Ryan Hardy. Ennis as well has been a revelation this season. I think you look at Ipswich as well, great result for them. Norwood, I think, has been one of those types of players where he has got some vital goals and assists and putting some big shifts this season, hasn't he? In some of the games. Got an assist the other day. But again, back three, Dinesian, again, plays like a right back. So they're basically playing like, at times they play sometimes they play a 3, sometimes they play a 4, where Thompson can slip to that left back, Burgess, Wolford, and Denessian, and then Burns just plays all over the pitch. When you've got an engine like Wes Burns, you can play all over. Carl Robinson described it as so difficult to play against, and you can't. If you back off, they'll hurt you, and if you go to him, they'll hurt you as well. So that can only be a positive when other managers are saying that.
Yeah, and look, Plymouth are a good side, Ben. Plymouth have been really good all season long, but they didn't put their best performance in on Saturday. I think Schumacher would say that, but don't let this sort of take you away from the fact that Ipswich completely battered Plymouth on Saturday. You know, you're looking at the match stats for a team to restrict Plymouth to 3 shots, none on target. You've done pretty well, especially given the goal threat that Plymouth have got. You know, with the players like you mentioned before, and Sam Morsey this time getting involved on the goal sheet.
Been good lately.
Scored at Morecambe a couple of weeks ago. And look, he's come back from fitness, hasn't he? And he's really doing well. So, yeah. And then you look at, like you say, with Denasian dropping in at right back, and then they have Dom Thompson, don't they, coming in at the left back. And like you say, Wes Burns just goes and plays anywhere. He's a bit of a maverick. And Carl Robinson's absolutely spot on. They're so hard to play against because they've got such a good squad. And you know, I'm reading the bench now, Nappers, for their game. They had Chaplin on the bench, Joe Piggott on the bench, Macaulay Bonne on the bench. Tom Carroll is no bad player for this division. So, look, good result for Ipswich. I think last week we sort of said that if anyone from the outside group was going to do it, it was going to be Ipswich, didn't we? And, you know, you look at the games they've got left, they could go and win 6 out of 6. Why not? You know, they've beaten a good Plymouth side. It's really good win for them. It strengthens their hopes a little bit, puts perhaps a seed of doubt in the head of the Argyle fans. Are we good enough? You know, if we get to the playoffs, are we good enough to play against a team as good as Ipswich? Whether they'll have to do it or not remains to be seen. But still, no, good 3 points for Ipswich, and I'm sure the Tractor boys and Kieran McKenna will be focusing on that 6th spot and relentless in their preparation at trying to finish inside of it.
Spot on. And some people go, well, they've only gone up 2 places. You've got to realise in 17 games, they've won 11 of those 17 games. 10 of those they've won, you know, by keeping a clean sheet as well. So that is an improvement. Other teams, though, have matched that basically. Sheffield Wednesday have gone again. Oxford have gone again. MK Dons. There's probably 5 or 6 teams that have done what Ipswich have done, and they're just unlucky to have timed it maybe 5 games too late. But whatever happens this season, they've given themselves, look, we can do it. By the way, Thompson, in my opinion, now they brought 20 players, 22 players in the summer and January put together. He's been, bar Burson Selina, who we all know his quality. I think Thompson's been one of the best signings in the division.
Where's Burns, Ben?
He came in last year, and he was at Swindon last year, wasn't he? He was in a really poor side. But what he's offered to them, and it's not just his quality, it's his flexibility, where they can play and how he fits the way the McKenna style is. He fits Burgess. He fits, you know, that back 3, Wolfenden as well. And I just think brilliant play. If you can get him back next year, I think the strikers are good. I think Norwood, Jackson, Piggott are good. But I think you need one more. I think you need one more that can go and get you 15, 20 goals a season. You look at the top 2, Wigan have got 3 or 4 of them. They've got Lang, they've got Wyke, who will hopefully be back playing next year. They've got Humphreys that can score goals. They've got Will Keane who can score goals. Rotherham have got, you know, Ladapo, Michael Smith. You know, Wickham have got Sam Vokes. That's the only one thing Ipswich don't have. And if they get that next season, they can get it right. But trust in McKenna, and personally, I think they'll be okay. But again, Sheffield Wednesday, they are putting results on the pitch. And I did a little stat on them, actually, Sheffield Wednesday. And the first, I think the last, I think they've got 1.7 points per game the last 19 games. So they've really, I think they won 11 in the last 19 games. You know, they only won 8 in the previous 20. They were drawing too many games. They were drawing over half the games, wasn't they? Now they've scored the second most goals at home in the division, 41. Oxford on 44. They scored 16 in the last 5 home games. They battered Burton. They've battered now Cheltenham. They've battered Cambridge. They are putting goals into the back of the net, banning scoring. And you know what the biggest thing for me coming out of Saturday night about the 3 points? Lee Gregory scoring a very good goal from over 20 yards out. Now you'll go, oh, he's a striker, should score goals. When you've gone a while without one and you get a goal, Jake, he could be massive for them in those last 8-9 games of the season, going on a run. Daniel Doe is one of those, a big patch player where he's got 1 in 15, now he's got 4 in 3 again, and he's got them from, are they going down to? They're going to be absolutely safe.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks for reminding me about Udo. Look, no, I'm just going to give Cheltenham a bit of credit, Ben, because obviously they went a goal up, didn't they? Alfie May, he's one of those strikers that is on a really hot run of form at the moment, and we're talking about him all the time. And I'd be surprised if Cheltenham could keep a hold of him in the summer at the rate that he's going at. Perhaps he might even be perfect for Ipswich if they want to go and spend a bit of cash on him. But no, really surprised to see them obviously storm into the lead, and then they just, I think they sat back, didn't they? And they were thinking, right, we've got the goal. Let's just, play 2 banks of 4 and try and come away with it. Which it's not the worst idea at Hillsborough, but when you've got 25, 26, however many thousand people against you, as well as players like Gregory, Bannon, Luongo, Mendes Lang, it's pretty hard work. And it took 3 minutes for them to break. And Lee Gregory, it's funny you say that about the going on a run. Similar to Ellis Sims last season, went on an absolutely unbelievable run to help Blackpool into the playoffs. And if Lee Gregory can play the similar role to Ellis Sims last season, I'm not saying Sheffield Wednesday are absolutely home and hose to finish there, because we think Ipswich might come from behind. There's still Sunderland, there's still Wickham. But if they're going to do it, Lee Gregory's going to give them a massive help. And I think Wednesday fans are also happy to see Jack Hunt on the score sheet. Obviously, his first goal since coming back from the football club. And then George Byers been really putting in some good performances recently. Really highly rated amongst. I think he came through at Swansea as well. So yeah, I mean they had an off day against us, and it was very much an off day, because you can see in the performances since how they can play teams similar level to what we are. And Cambridge, Burton, Cheltenham, they've all sort of felt the wrath, haven't they, of all the thousands of Wednesdayites that are behind that bloody goal with that bloody band that they've got. Didn't do your head in, Ben. You been?
Oh, I know. So it's like going to England, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they are the England band.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
Mate, I don't watch England enough. They bore me. Like, my own team bore me enough. I'm not going to watch England week in, week out. Anyway, and also, by the way, you say about Ellis Sims going on a run. Can you remember who Blackpool beat in the playoff final?
No. Run out of my mind, Ben.
I thought so. Next, I'll leave the next game up to you. Discuss Lincoln, Shrewsbury.
Yeah. Look, really difficult game to discuss. Lincoln made 4 subs throughout the game. All 4 were injuries. Now, obviously, you've mentioned Daniel Udo. He scored the winner. It was a game that lacked any real quality, really. Yeah. And Shrewsbury took their moment when they did. And it was a good strike from Udo. Jordan Wright probably want to be doing a little bit better down to his right. We created a similar sort of moment in the first half where Morgan Whittaker couldn't produce it, which was a shame. And then I think the referee let himself down a little bit. I know it. I'm aware it sounds a little bit salty.
Here we are. Get the violin out.
Look, I can play it, but no. We should have had a penalty. I think our match summariser Steve Thompson was shocked when we weren't given a penalty. I think it was Morgan Whittaker on the edge of the box. Oh no, Tom Hopper in the box got brought down. Daniel Udo also fortunate to be on the pitch. Similar, it's similar to the one at Accrington where Daniel Udo goes in. Adam Jackson, his head is stooping a little bit, but Udo's got his knee up, and it is dangerous. it can go either way. The referee chose not to. I mean, we also were looking at a couple of decisions. We had a couple of handballs in our final third that the linesman couldn't see from maybe about all of 3 yards away. So, no, one moment of quality from Daniel Udo. We didn't look like scoring once they'd scored. So, look, Shrewsbury are one of the form team. Well, over the last 3 games, the form team in the league, aren't they? Scoring 9 goals in 3. So, yeah, I mean, obviously we're disappointed to go there and lose. They've knocked us out of a cup. They've taken 4 points off us this season, which last season, if you'd have told me that, I think I probably would have cried if Shrewsbury had done that to us. But still, look, they've done well, and Daniel Udo is a really good player, like you say, really patchy, coming into form now. And yeah, we'll have to suit up and go again. Obviously, we were missing a couple of players with international duty. Brooke Norton-Cuffy, who has been an absolute revelation, has been away with the under-19s for England, done really well. 2 wins for them. And then Lewis Fiorini, who gets a little bit of stick off the Lincoln fan base, but still made some, if you've got any Sheffield Wednesday fans in here, they will tell you Lewis Fiorini was outstanding against them, and he has been recently. So 2 cogs of the wheel that we're missing. The one positive, Ben, that I will give you is Liam Bridcut back on the bench. Absolutely massive. Bridge is back, and I can't wait. I mean, he's going to play 2 games, but still, to have him around, the character and the quality, and people can say he's old, but Liam Bridcut last season was one of the best midfielders in the division. I don't think anyone's going to doubt it. So to have him back, to have our captain back is massive, because we've been so poor in midfield recently. And yeah, not a good result. Obviously, I was too drunk at this point to care about it. So on to Charlton, really.
Yeah. Tell you what, 2 VKs to a 5 are getting someone drunk nowadays, eh?
Yeah, you, Ben, you.
Yeah, of course. we won't go into you with 2 VKs for a 5 anyway. Sorry for another day. Anyway, keep your comments and questions coming in, guys. Also, like the stream if you are enjoying it, and give it a subscription. Again, head over to the Safety West podcast as well, doing really well. I mean, I'll be on there next week talking all things Fleetwood against Lincoln, going into a big game for possibly Fleetwood. I don't think it's as big for Lincoln as it was maybe 6 weeks ago, Jake. So, again, we're just going to quickly skim through the next 12 games. Wigan Bolton, the early kickoff on Saturday. Wigan, again, have got this opportunity. It's in their hands to win the title now. Disappointment not going to Wembley, but they've only lost 3 games all year. Bolton at home. Big game. They've already beaten Blackburn this year, haven't they? So, why can't they go and do another at Lancashire derby?
And they beat Bolton 4-0 away from home, didn't they? So that will be in the Bolton players' minds, but also Wigan will be thinking 3 points here, guys, against a rivalry. Make the fans happy. Like you say, keep it in your hands. Because, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago when Bolton had that real chance of getting in the playoffs, this was a dangerous game. But I know Ian Everett's not giving the playoffs up, but I think he should do now anyway. So I can see nothing but a home win now. And is it on the telly as well? 12:30 kickoff, or is it just because of the beer? But still, I'm sure it'll be a really good game.
It just for me means the Weatherstream's beer at 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's a local game, Ben. You might as well go to it. Save yourself going and watching one of those turgid games of football you'll see all season.
Oh, exactly. And again, big credit to Top. I think they won 10 in a row. Paddy Madden, Ryan Rydell, Macaulay Southern Hales, Liam Elgin. I think some big, a lot of other Fleetwood players. Sarcevic has gone there as well. I think I tell you what, what's scary, right? I think maybe 8 or 9 top players getting a lot of League One teams.
Yeah,
I reckon 3 or 4 could get into Championship sides as well.
Do you know what, Ben? Stockport went down with us 10, 11 years ago, so it's about time they come up into it. Really, they're a great fan base. Good. They've
hit it right. They've got the right manager. The board's good. The fans have got it right. Yeah. And it's just clicked.
It's good. It's good to go down to come back up. It's no harm whatsoever. I think Scunthorpe will go through a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Jim, thanks for the donation, my mate. Really appreciate that. If you're just so hard to beat under McKenna, exactly. 20 in a row, unbelievable. Again, next game, mate. Stanley Cheltenham, big game. Not one of those types of games. Both are on the beach. point 0-0 all over, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I'd probably favour Accrington to bounce back from that. You know, they're at home, aren't they? And they lost to Gillingham last time at home, and I don't think you'd want to annoy too many Accrington Stanley fans. They just seem like an absolute hard bunch, don't they? So, yeah, I'm backing Accrington to beat Cheltenham there.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Charlton Lincoln again. Charlton in form at the minute. I think this is going to draw, mate. If I'm honest with you, I think Lincoln can go there.
Not a chance. Not a chance. I think they'll turn us over. Genuinely, they were really poor when they came to us earlier in the year, and we beat them. But they're hitting form.
Last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, Regan Poole. God, that feels like ages ago. But what a moment. Yeah. I can't see us going down and win, which is a shame. It'll be a nice ground tick for me. It'll be a nice day out on the beer. So yeah, good day out. But I think we're probably going to get beat.
By beer, do you mean a shandy? You know, they're a bit hard.
No, mate. I mean cider because I'm a woman.
Yeah, I know. Crew against Fleetwood. Now this is probably the El Sacchio.
Not this again, Crew, Ben. Not this again. I don't
think none of the managers will get sacked, right? But it is literally like a League One version of the El Clasico, isn't it? Like what this feels like is putting a Green King pub team out against the Wetherspoons pub team out, and just seeing which one matches better at the minute. Crew 12 defeats in 13, Jake. Fleetwood no winning 13. I think this game bigger for Fleetwood because I think Crew are down anyway. If Fleetwood don't win this game of football, I reckon it could massively change the complex of the bottom four. Even if Fleetwood draw, Fleetwood Town have to win this game of football. They have got hopefully 3 players back in Dan Batty, Ellis Harrison and Josh Harrott, which is a huge boost. Yeah,
and you know what, Ben? Crew weren't bad when I went to watch them, so I don't think it'll be an easy game for you, as you might think. Granted, they were quite fortunate in their win against us, but still, look, the players have got contracts to play for. They've got they want to put themselves in the shop window. I think that as well as we might have said, they're practically down. Some of them will want to be playing in League One next season, and some of them will get moves, which I wouldn't be surprised at. Lowry, especially, I think he's a really good footballer for the level.
John Long can all get moves.
Yeah, and if Fleetwood don't go there and win, Ben, especially the form you're in, you want to gather momentum, and this to me screams go there and win changes the season because you'll be positive from then on in. And do you know what, Ben? I'm going to back you. I'm going to back you. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Cods win, hopefully.
Go on the Cods. I do think if Fleetwood win, it'll give them confidence going into Lincoln, going into some big games, going in at Accrington. Some games that look winnable look a bit more winnable, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Ben, you're playing us next. Ben, you're playing us next, so you're going to win and be in form. So don't worry.
Again, Ipswich against Cambridge, mate. So for me, we talk about 6 versus 6. Now, these are the types of sides that normally come to Portman Road, 2 banks of 4 or 4-5-1, shut you out, get a point. That's been their downfall this season against some of the sides. What are you thinking, mate?
Yeah, I mean, we went there the other week and tried to do it and got played off the park. So Cambridge, if they can manage a point, then fair enough. But Ipswich are literally on fire. They're sensational. Cambridge, I can't see Cambridge scoring given the recent run of clean sheets with Ipswich and how defensively solid they are. And then they've just got too many options going forward, like Burns, Selina, Bond, Norwood, Piggott to pick from. And that's not even mentioning Colin Chapman and James Norwood, is it? Which is very scary. So no, I think this should be a comfortable home win, and then it will sort of give Ipswich fans perhaps a little bit more confidence in what they've already got.
I think for 6 out of 6 is a big ask, but they can do it. But I'll be honest, I don't think they'll do it, if I'm honest with you. I think they'll finish about 8th in the table. Next up, MK Dons Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury improved a bit of late, but for me, an MK Dons win. Next up, Jake, Morecambe Burton. Now, this is a big game. Shrewsbury Morecambe just put, they have to win, otherwise it's curtains. I agree, because they've got some tough games. They've got Cambridge away, they've got Portsmouth at home, got Charlton away, you got Sunderland at home on the last game of the season. It's a really tough running, and I don't fancy it. They have to win this game of football because Burton have been poor for maybe a month and a half, 2 months now.
Yeah, and given Burton's sort of recent form, they've lost 4 out of 5. They were sort of that team, weren't they, at the top of the bottom half of clubs, and now they're literally a place above us. So they've dropped down the table, which will give them no end of headaches. And look, Morecambe will be scrapping for their absolute lives, won't they? And it's a game that Derek Adams will no doubt have earmarked as one of the games where they expect to go and challenge the 3 points. And you know, just the whole Morecambe and staying up, I just feel like they might get a win here, but it might come a bit in vain. And I like we said last week, we think they're down. But this might sort of be that glimmer of hope before the smack round the chops from the bouncer.
Yeah. Game of the weekend for me, Plymouth Oxford. 2 good sides, play the right way, score a lot of goals, like to play the right way. I think Plymouth are a bit more like to keep a clean sheet, like to win 1, maybe 2-0. Oxford will like to win 3-2, 4-3, as long as they get the job done. 2 different styles, 2 good managers. How are you seeing it?
Oxford for me. Carl Robinson's a really intelligent bloke. Not saying Stephen Schumacher isn't, but Oxford just, in a bit of form, aren't they? Obviously, at the moment, they've not lost in 3, whereas Plymouth, obviously, that result away at Ipswich might have shook them a little bit. Yes, they won, 5 or 6 before that. They want to get back involved in front of the home crowd, but Oxford are a really good side, and they'll set up there, and I have no doubt that the goal scoring threat that they've got will just about carry them over the line.
Yeah, I agree. And then you got Wednesday, Wimbledon, game at both ends. I think Wednesday will get a result there. It's going to be a tough game, and they'll just edge through it as well. Sunderland, Gillingham, again, game at both ends. Do you think Sunderland will favour that? And then Wycombe, Doncaster, Jake, again. Wycombe will have to look to win that. They're celebrating the life of 2, well, the life, not dead, the career of Adebayo Akinfenwa and Matt Bloomfield later in the month as well. So they'll hopefully get 3 points, but Doncaster will be thinking, they'll be celebrating a special day. They'll be thinking they got 3 points. Maybe an ideal opportunity for Doncaster to go there. And they have beaten some good sides on the road this year. Sunderland, MK Dons, the been unlucky in some away games, but they've got some decent points on the board away from home recently.
Yeah, and what's better going to a game as an away fan, and you go and win a game where the home team needs to win to celebrate or to go and lift the title or get promoted. There's nothing better, is there? So that would be motivation for Doncaster. Wycombe's a hard place to go. Obviously, they remember at the start of the season, they're really unbeatable at home, weren't they? So, yeah, I think it's a routine Wycombe win, but I think Doncaster will make it difficult for them. Maybe a 2-1 or a 3-2.
I agree. Jake, do you reckon Wednesday will go up? Now, I think they'll be in the playoffs. Now, there's a video coming out of my League One playoffs and bottom 6 coming in the next few weeks. In the next, day or so. But what do you think?
No, not for me. Look, I think in really good form. In really good form at the minute, Sheffield Wednesday, absolutely no doubt about it. Scoring goals for fun, but they've just got that streak inside of them that MK Dons don't have. Sheffield Wednesday will go and be inconsistent on the road. MK Dons are not. MK Dons will win. They've had some really good away performances.
They've been better probably away than home.
Yeah, and I back MK Dons if they were to finish in the playoffs to beat any of the teams that are squabbling for that place anyway. So, no, I think Wednesday will have another season in League One. I mean, I think it'll be a good season in League One next year where they go for automatics, but not this time around, unfortunately.
Yeah, Gillingham stay up surely. Yeah, but there's not out of it. They've got 6 games to go, and I reckon if they want to stay up, they've got to go and get another 8 points, 9 points, which is a big ask, really, if you think about it. They have got some tough fixtures coming up, some winnable ones.
Yeah.
I think they've got Rotherham the last day, which I've got them down to get a point against, if I'm honest with you. I do think it's between
Oh, here we go.
Morecambe, Wimbledon, Fleetwood, Gillingham, 4-2. I'm putting Doncaster out of it. Doncaster and Crewe are gone, right? I know I'm basically doing Crewe's team talk for Saturday, but Crewe will not stay up. Like, the 9 points adrift, they've got 21 points to play for, right? There's no way that they're staying up. Like, not a chance. Doncaster will go. Like, they're awful. Like, for me.
They're awful, Ben, but they're awful, but they're only 4 points behind.
5 o'clock. This will come on my feed after Crewe beat us 1-0. I can just see it now. But
Wigan have scored. Wigan have scored.
oh no. Well, what I just said, but for me, I just, you know something, the state of that bottom half, right? And I look next season, I don't think Crewe, Doncaster, Morecambe, Wimbledon, Fleetwood, or Gillingham challenge that the League Two at the minute. League Two is a tough league. There's some good teams in League Two. Forest Green Rovers, Exeter are good. I like Bristol Rovers. I think they're a decent side. And Newport are decent. They've all got good players. I think they're better than those 6. I think Lincoln would be up there. I think for the squad as an overall, I think it's good enough. And then I think Burton, Cambridge, those type of sides will challenge. But that bottom 6 is as worse as it's ever been. But then you can also say there's the top 11 in League One plus Cambridge could all go up next season in League One if they don't go up this year. And that is, I remember Gab Sutton saying there's 14 sides that could go up this year. And then he also used the phrase that I think there's 12 that could go down. And for the first time, he thought that. Now, for the first time this season, that I believe that maybe 8 or 9 clubs could really go down. From Christmas, I said, Jake, Shrewsbury, Cambridge, Burton, and Lincoln will not be in any danger. And I think that's been proven right, hasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
although you did say Burton would go down.
But Ben, in fairness, they are what? Oh, they're on 47. Yeah, they're fine. But they've dropped down the table. So look,
Holiday.
I'm claiming that as a mini win, even though they stayed up.
Yeah, goals seem to have dried up, but they're not creating many chances for him, and I think they've worked him out now. And he's a very good player. I think when he gets another goal, he'll go on a run. But you know, one of those. Keep the questions coming. Got 5 more minutes of a Q&A, so keep them popping along. Also, like this, you want 21 likes. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes. And if you could subscribe, that'd be massively appreciated. Again, he's only missed 15 minutes all season. He's cream crackered. Again, maybe good that he's had 2 weeks break then. Let's be honest with you. I think maybe as a manager point of view, you pull him out of training for a couple of sessions. Maybe you just say to him, I'll see you Thursday, I'll see you Friday, and you just give him a week off and let him do what he wants in the gym. You know, be around the training room, but don't let him train. I know that's unfair on the other lads, but he is the person you just say to the other lads, this man will keep you in League One. If you feed him and he will score goals for you, he will. And I tell you what, the whole squad will sit up and listen to that message. And he will. That's what I personally do. I just take him out of the team. Not take him out of the team, just take him away from training. What about you, Jay?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because, you know, maybe 6 months ago you'd been saying that, but not recently. I think Tony's right, where in the fact that his goals have dried up. And that is probably due to service, but it's also probably him not quite being as sharp and getting in the right box. I mean, look, say Morecambe get relegated, Ben. I have a feeling that Cole Stockton might struggle to find a League One move, purely for the fact that not many clubs are inclined to play that way anymore, if that makes sense. So,
but if he scores you 20 goals a season,
no,
mate.
yeah, I can see him going up to Scotland, somewhere like Hearts or maybe a Hibs, but how many teams that are going to want to be challenging towards the top end of the table where you need a 20-goal striker are going to be playing like maybe Wickham potentially.
Wickham, yeah.
But you look at the guys that are outside the playoffs. Ipswich couldn't do with a striker like that. Sunderland, they've got Ross Stewart. Wednesday, no. Portsmouth, George Hurst, Tyler Walker. If they get Tyler Walker back, Bolton, they've got John Denny Bodvarsson. So, yeah, I think
I'm not
Stockton
convinced by him personally.
Hey,
I'm not all overly convinced by him yet. I think he's been okay, but I don't think he's been. Right. I reckon. I know this is a mad shout. If you offered Alfie Mason Morecambe and Stockton to Cheltenham, I reckon There's not an overall term of quality. I think they both score goals. I'd rather have Alfie May on my side than Cole Stockton. And I've said that also. I like Stockton, but for what May offers, I reckon he'd suit Derek Adams. I reckon Alfie May and Cole Stockton up front together could bang 50 goals between them. Because I reckon Stockton's that type will hold the ball up, and Alfie May, the runs that he makes in behind, he's a little shit, basically. Like, horrible to play against. And he just cuts between you. The goal the other day was a fine example. He gets into the box, wriggles around you, and smashes it into the top corner. He lobs Peacock Farrell from about 10 yards out. I reckon them two together as a partnership. You talk about little man, big man. He didn't go so well at Sunderland because he retired after 10 games. But, you know, what do you think about it? If they've seen the same side, I think maybe in Ipswich go and have a look. Right, we need a front two, Stockton and Alfie May.
Well, if we're making this Ipswich, you'd play Joe Pigott and Alfie May, wouldn't you? Rather than, but if it was Carl Stockton
for me.
Look, Carl Stockton and Alfie May together. I think it relies on the service, Ben. If I'm honest, look, they're both goal scorers, and I just feel that Stockton relies on balls coming in the box all the time, whereas neither of them sort of go out and chase it. They don't go out and make them themselves.
I think he did. Stockton scored one of the goals. I don't really like mentioning teams again.
Was it from the halfway line?
He comes across in a Lancashire derby and scores from his own half in the last minute of a relegation 6-point unit. Yeah. Could end up keeping that football club in League One.
Yeah, but I don't think that Carl Stockton goes chasing after goals in the fact that he won't go and drop 30 yards and arrive late at the back post. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't do the hard graft as much as an Alfie May might. So I don't think it would work. I know it's big man, little man, Peter Crouch, Jermaine Defoe, who obviously he's just retired, hasn't he, after seeing John Marquise in person. So look, no, don't work for me, Ben. Look, if you're Gillingham, maybe, but perhaps I'm being arrogant and being a Lincoln fan, being arrogant, but neither for me.
Yeah, exactly. He does score a lot of goals, but for me, if he's got 20 goals a season, you sacrifice it personally. So he is under contract. He's got another year left. I do think there'll be interest. I think maybe someone like a Peterborough will have a look at him when they come down. Barnsley potentially as well. You've got to remember teams coming down. You don't just remember you've got to look at the teams as well. Again, best keeper in League One. I think that's a tough one. I like Dalberg. I think he's a good goalkeeper. I think Peacock Farrell is up there as well. I think he's got to be mentioned. What about you, mate?
I'm torn between Josh Vickers at Rotherham. Josh Vickers is a really good goalkeeper. Yeah. Bazunu is one that I like. And Cummins at MK Dons.
Yeah.
I think he's amazing. Just he looks like a midfielder in goal, doesn't he? With the ball at his feet. And the way MK Dons play, maybe it make him look 10 times better. But even you saw the saves that he made against Cambridge when he's keeping them in that game. Unbelievable. I'm probably going to go Cummins, actually.
I think you got to say Walton as well. I think he's up there as well. I think he's had a great season. I think he's had a great impact on that football club because you got to remember when he joined, they were struggling for goalkeepers. They're a bit dodgy in that area as well. Vickers is another one who came in. They were struggling. Johansson got dropped. He's come in and been a revelation. So I think those all deserve a shout. Keep liking the stream, guys. Walton only conceded 1 in 8 goals. 8 games. Agree. Got to be up there. For me, Cole Stockton, good movement. He's horrible to play in the box, and if you play to his style. Again, Jake, we're going to wrap it up tonight. If you've got anything last to say, let us know.
Just go and follow the Stacey West YouTube channel. I'm just this second checking what we're on. I think it was 420, around 420 subscribers so far. Trying to get that up to 500 before the end of the season. 422 I'm on at the moment. So 424. Oh, I've had 2 subs, so wicked. I hope that's your mates, Ben. Go give us a follow. See, content next year is going up. really well. Hopefully, got some new kit coming, and it should be a better quality content. And probably I'll be seeing Mr. Ben Knackman probably more often than I'd like to.
He's impressed on his loan spell, although the results are starting to creep in that we don't like.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, but go and follow me on there. Go and follow me on Twitter. We're looking to we're looking to make this a Spotify thing as well, aren't we, Ben? That we can talk to and discuss. But yeah, apart from that, up the imps and hopefully a good day out on Saturday in London town.
Exactly. I'll be off to Crewe. Again, there will be a video coming this week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Loads of content coming. We are in the last month of the season now. We're trying to get to 8,500 subscribers by the end of the season. So if you could subscribe, that'd be massively appreciated. Without you guys, it isn't a show. But again, thanks for everyone that's come in. Simply Morecambe, Ipswich and Alex, Tony, Sabotic, everyone that has commented with your feedback. And until next time, guys, I will see you later. The Monday shows will be starting at 7 o'clock from now on. Just a better fit for all involved. So I do appreciate everyone that is... stick Jake's link in the comments. Jake, if you want to do that before we go.
Yeah, there
we go. We'll just give a bit of time. The oldies and technology, they don't really get
Ben,
along.
I'm only 23. Don't you be calling me old now.
I'm 20 now, but I feel 50 like a 12-year-old. So
good, you're nearly there.
Exactly. Cheers, Napples and Jake. No worries. Thank you very much, Jim. But again, as a good show as always, we'll leave the overlay on there, and Jake will stick his link in the chat. He's put it in. There we go. And thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Please keep your eyes peeled for more League One content. Give the social media, FTFC Nappers on Instagram and Twitter. A follow as well for more League One content over there. I'll see you in the next one. Up the cods, Jake.
Up the imps, boys. Come on. God,